Hey, true seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Another week of scripted and rigged NFL football is almost over. In this video, we're going to review the Week 5 games and we're going to preview tonight's Monday Night Football game. It has a major parallel to last week's Thursday primetime game where Carson Palmer sat out with a fake injury because the entire game was scripted for Drew Stanton, his backup. Tonight in Monday Night Football, Cam Newton will be sitting out because the entire game's scripted for Derek Anderson, his backup. Think about it. Last year, Panthers and Cardinals, those were the teams in the NFC Championship. This year in prime time, in Week 5, they're being used in rituals for the backups by the numbers. And of course, this is the week where Tom Brady, who lost in the AFC Championship last year, returns, meaning the backups of New England are no longer starting. So Tom Brady, he returned yesterday, October 9th, 2016, a Sunday, a date with 35 numerology. And this is no coincidence because he's coming back from the Deflategate suspension. If you missed the videos I've done the last 2 years, and there must be at least 10 of them on Deflategate, I've shown how every news headline, every story that rolled out about the contrived Deflategate story was centered around the number 35. Tom Brady in gematria equals 35. Yesterday had 35 date numerology, Tom Brady's return. Not a coincidence. I cannot emphasize it enough. The NFL is scripted. It is scripted by the numbers. I am showing you how it's scripted. If you want to come here and deny this knowledge, it just makes you a fool. I have 2 years of evidence documenting how everything about Deflategate is the number 35. So check this out. The date he returned, October 9th, can be written 10/9, a lot like the number 109. That's the 29th prime number. Football in gematria, the small way, sums to 29. Football, the big way, sums to 83. And yesterday, October 9th, was also the day that leaves 83 days left in the year. If you want to know how to do gematria, how to calculate these words into numbers, it's very simple. Watch my How to Gematria video in the description. In 10 minutes, you'll have a skill that will last you the rest of your life, and a skill you can use every week to see through scripted sports and scripted news headlines. The number 83, yesterday left 83 days left in the year. Football equals 83. 83 is the 23rd prime number. The name Brady alone equals 23. Tom is 12, Brady's 23, put it together 35, Brady 23. Last year in the AFC Championship, when the Broncos scored their first touchdown against the Patriots, a stat came up. First touchdown in 23 Broncos drives. Colorado in gematria happens to sum to 83. The team from Colorado had a 23 drive drought before they got their first touchdown in the game that they went on to win. And as I said, from October on of last year, I said everything was scripted for the Broncos. Peyton Manning. A lot of people said I was crazy when they made that pick in October. Turned out I wasn't. And the only reason I made that pick is because I learned how to read this rigged number code, something I've been doing for 3 years. And in case you're new here, with each passing year, I get better and better at this because I learn more information from observation and documenting. That's what happens when you study. That's what happens when you research. That's what happens when you put in work. And I'm trying to get more people to help me out because when more minds are doing this, the further we're going to crack the code. Yesterday, October 9th, to the upcoming Super Bowl was a span of 119 days. Or not a span, excuse me. From yesterday, Sunday, to the upcoming Super Bowl is 119 days later. And 119 is that super important number. All-seeing eye equals 119. Star of David equals 119. This year, the NFL season, the first Sunday was on September 11th, a date written 11/9. Of course, the New England Patriots and Tom Brady became the darlings of the NFL after September 11th in the Patriot Act. I was 18 then, and it couldn't have been any more transparent how the NFL was rigged. 9/11, Patriot Act, feelings of patriotism, and out of nowhere comes the New England Patriots, a historically loser football team. So as I pointed out, 2 weeks ago when I did the Texans game, I talked about this upcoming game in the return of Tom Brady. I said, I guarantee you Bill Belichick gets his 227th win against the Browns. He began his coaching career against the Browns, Bill Belichick, the current coach of the Patriots, and 227 is a very special number. 22 divided by 7 gives you the number for pi, like you learned about in geometry class, having to do with cycles and circles. And this number is quoted again and again in news media and professional sports. We just saw Thursday Night Football more than a week ago where Cincinnati won in Ohio. They won 22-7. They won it on the day leaving 93 days left in the year. The day where we had the first new scientific holiday called Galactic Tick Day, about the journey of the sun around the Milky Way galaxy. They say the sun's 93 million miles away. They celebrated that holiday on the day, or they celebrated that new scientific holiday on the day leaving 93 days left in the year. Saturn in gematria equals 93. They say Saturn's the keeper of time. Think about time, cycles, circles. Saturn 93, the sun 93 million miles away. Celebrating it on a day that leaves 93 days left in the year, which was a Thursday. That same day, the NFL game was in Ohio, the birthplace of football, and the final score was 22-7. Pi, cycles, circles, the sun, time, NFL seasons. Do you get it? Hopefully you get it. If you don't get it, go back and watch more of my videos and how often I talk about these numbers. So anyway, Tom Brady returns to face Cleveland, who he has history with. Remember, he was once tackled by the defensive player for the Browns. His leg was injured. He missed the season. They made a new NFL rule about where you can tackle QBs. In the time Tom Brady's been in the league, we've seen all these rules get created around him. Anyway, the Patriots played in Cleveland and won 33-13. Cleveland is the only city in the league with a gematria of 33. The only city with 33, the Patriots win in Cleveland with 33 points for the return of Tom Brady. There's one city that sums to 33. There's 3 teams that have 33 names. They are the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Bengals. 3 33 teams. Think about it. So anyway, as we talked about, Brady equals 23. Look at how many points the Patriots scored in the first half. 16 plus 7, 23. Look at how many points were scored in the first quarter. 16 plus 7, 23. Not a coincidence. This is all part of the scripted tribute. Not to mention they scored 16 in the first quarter of the 2016 season for Tom Brady's return. When you write out 16 as a word, it sums to 33, just like Cleveland. Only one other number does. It's 90, 90. 90, 16, the only 2 numbers when written out as words that sum to 33. There's more here, though. 33 plus 13, the total score is 46 points. And why is that relevant? Tom Brady played his college ball at Michigan. He was the 199th pick by the Patriots in 2000. 199 is the 46th prime. You might have noticed that Eli Manning last night in Sunday Night Football, which we'll get to, had 199 passing yards. And think about Eli Manning and Tom Brady. Patriots in gematria also sums to 46. When you write out the word 27, it sums to 46. The other week in prime time, they blanked the Texans 27-0. Tom Brady came back for this game with 223 career starts. Bill Belichick began this season with 223 career wins. Masonic 223, the Synagogue of Satan 223. The Synagogue of Satan's the nickname for the Zionist Jews who run the NFL. It's no coincidence that Brady and Belichick both began this season with the 2-2-3 connections. Something else I want to document real quick about the Browns scoring 13 points. Browns in gematria sums to 91, and when you count 1 through 13, 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to 13, it sums to 91. Browns equals 91, 13 points. Remember recently, Tom Brady played catch with Jim Harbaugh at Michigan? He did that exactly 46 days after his birthday. And not a coincidence. Tom Brady headlines, along with all headlines, are created by the numbers. The Freemasons who run the show, who own these athletes and use them as puppets on sticks, They do everything with them by the numbers. Notice Tom Brady on the game had 406 passing yards. Just lose the 0 in the middle. What are you at? 46 again. Another tribute. The opposing team had 35 attempts. Another tribute to Tom Brady. Brady had 41 attempts himself. The Patriots became 4-1. Deflategate equals 41. Super Bowl equals 41. Deflategate was the story the week before Super Bowl 49. Tom Brady's also currently 39 years old, and here's why that's interesting. Well, he was recently playing catch with Harbaugh. Harbaugh's 39, but here's what else is interesting about that. Notice that in the first quarter, the score was 16-7, and the Patriots scored 16-7 in the first two quarters. That's a lot like the number 167, which is the 39th prime number. Last year, we saw Peyton Manning ride off into the sunset at age 39. Major parallels between Brady and Manning. 83, the football number. Tom Brady born on 8/3, August 3rd. Peyton Manning born on the 83rd day of the year. So many 83s are coded into NFL QBs. It's astounding when you break down the league. Again, Tom Brady, Brady the name, 23, 83 the 23rd prime, 23 points in the first half, 23 points in the first quarter. Notice they only scored 10 in the second half. When you write out 10, it also sums to 39 like his age. Perfect day for Tom Brady to come back and get a win by the numbers. You know? Also, I want to remind that September 11th can be written 11/9. He came back on the game that has 119 days until the upcoming Super Bowl. When you write out September 11th, it sums to 77. On September 11th this year, we saw Jimmy Garoppolo get his first start. Just look at it. It's all scripted. It's more than Tom Brady. All of these people in the league, for the most part, are born into it. For those who aren't born into it, they often change their names, such as Eli Apple, the 10th overall pick of the draft this year, who changed his name 2 years ago at Ohio State, and then was drafted this year, 10th overall by the New York Giants. Eli Manning, the Big Apple. Eli Manning wears number 10. Eli Apple became the 10th pick. 10 equals 39. New York equals 39. With regards to the all-seeing eye connection, yesterday's games coming 119 days before the upcoming Super Bowl, the word eye alone has gematria of 35 like Tom Brady, the NFL Golden Boy right now, who became 4-1 yesterday, Super Bowl 41, Deflategate 41, Deflategate tribute. Another game yesterday, Lions beat the Eagles at home. This was a game I had picked for the Lions to win. Why? Because the Lions came in having faced the Eagles 32 times. Yesterday's game was the 33rd game between both teams. Lions, one of 3 teams with a 33 name gematria in the league. Lions, Bengals, Seahawks. Seahawks, only team to win a Super Bowl on the 33rd day of the year. 33 is typically a number of sacrifice in sports. And think about the Lions, Bengals, and Seahawks historically. Not very good teams. The Seahawks have become good in the last decade. The Bengals have been playing well under Andy Dalton. But historically, these are teams that haven't done so well. The Bengals have been used to lose in Super Bowls. Lions never been to one. Anyway, 33rd game between both teams. You knew that the Eagles were due for a loss with the rookie quarterback. They weren't going to let the Eagles go undefeated for too long. The final score, 24-23, a sum of 47 points. 47, that very special number to the NFL, the first Super Bowl in the 47th season of the league. This year will be Super Bowl 51, 47th Super Bowl of the modern era. Might be part of the reason for the tribute. In the game, the losing quarterback had 33 attempts, lost to the Lions in their 33rd game. You see? Stafford, the winning quarterback. Stafford equals 35. It was a date with 35 numerology. Again, Tom Brady, 35. Stafford currently 28 years old, another number connected to yesterday's game. From his last birthday to the game was also 35 weeks, for one more 35 on it. Bears and Colts. I said the Colts were going to win this week. You know, everything lined up. Andrew Luck, he's been looking for his 37th win. Chicago equals 37, plus a whole lot more. A lot lined up for the Colts this week. I put up a quick video clip. You can see it in my video list from what Chris Berman had to say about the Colts yesterday, trying to clue people into what's to come. Andrew Luck and the Colts became 2-3. 2-3. The Bears lost with 23 points. Notice the sum of points was 52. A lot lines up for the Colts to be in the Super Bowl this year. A lot of NFL spectators, people who comment here who still don't get it, who write things like, the Colts aren't going anywhere, their defense sucks. You're all being drawn into the narrative. That's what people were saying about the Packers the last time they won the Super Bowl. They had a horrible defense. They were all injured. You know, everyone was injured on that team. By the end of the season, they got healthier. They got on a run. They won the Super Bowl. I expect a very similar season from the Colts, and I do expect them to upset the Patriots in Deflategate revenge in the playoffs on the way to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl will be on 5/2, February 5th, in Andrew Luck's Houston, where he played his high school ball, where his father was the lifetime quarterback for the Houston Oilers. 52 points, the number of prophecy. Next week, Andrew Luck plays in Houston, who's hosting the Super Bowl. Andrew Luck equals 112. Horseshoe equals 112, the symbol of the Colts. Houston equals 112. Peyton Manning once threw 112 touchdown passes to Marvin Harrison while a member of the Colts. The Colts win next week in Houston. They'll be 3-3. They've had a lot of 33 tributes in Houston in recent years. The old Houston teams, the Oilers. Oilers equals 33. That's the team Andrew Luck's father played for. When you write out 23 as a word, it sums to 55. Again, yesterday's game had 55 date numerology. Chicago Bears also equals 55. Andrew Luck and the Colts, this season's more scripted for them, so they advance through the Bears on the appropriate date. Let us not forget that Chicago's also the birthplace of football. Football equals 29 the small way. We talked about how October 9th connected to 29. All of this is by the numbers. 83 days left in the year. 83 is the 23rd prime. This is how the games are put together every single week. Andrew Luck, let's get to his passing stats. His passing stats tell us the rest of the story. Again, Andrew Luck got his 37th win against Chicago. 37's the 12th prime number. Andrew Luck wears 12. Couple years ago, I said there was going to be a triple crown, the 12th triple crown ever, because there'd been a 37-year drought. That was American Pharaoh. That came true. Chicago Bears, corresponding with the date numerology. Coming into the game, the two teams had played each other 41 times. These teams met in Super Bowl 41. Remember, Peyton Manning beat Rex Grossman, Super Bowl 41. Also yesterday, when the Colts were coming into the game, they had 22 wins against the Bears. I told everyone they're going to get their 23rd win. It was as clear as could be. And, you know, I have a lot of people who follow my work who are trying to be very creative with gematria, and I can't decide if these people are being sincere, if they're just being creative. But I see a lot of people following my work, making videos, and doing nonsensical gematria and coming off with very off-base predictions. And for those of you who follow these other channels, you know, I would be cautious about the information they're showing you. When they say something like, easy money this week is on Colts, and then show you what the gematria of that phrase is and say, that's the reason they're going to win the game, that's not the way to use gematria to decode sports rigging. You don't make up your own sentence, decode the words, and then say, oh, see, that's why this team's going to win. I saw a number of people doing that who follow my work saying that's why the Bears were going to win. There was no narrative for the Bears this week. None. Very easy game to read here with the Colts. Notice the losing team had 33 completions. Brian Hoyer, who's from Cleveland, Cleveland 33. Andrew Luck had 28 completions, number on the day, 39 attempts. Andrew Luck has 39 birth numerology. The Colts play on the 39th parallel. The last time a Super Bowl was played in the Colts Stadium, it was on a date with 39 numerology, and Eli Manning won, who's from New York. New York 39. We saw Peyton Manning retire at age 39, who began his career with the Colts. 39, very special number to the Zionist Jews who go by the 39 books in the Old Testament. Here's Andrew Luck's birthday, born on a date with 39 numerology. A number of quarterbacks have the 39 connection because it's important to the game. Another one is Russell Wilson. Last year on his birthday, they beat the Steelers with 39 points. No one guarded Doug Baldwin for the final touchdown that gave him the 39 points. It's a joke. So Titans also won in the AFC South. They're the original Houston team. They used to be the Houston Oilers, who Andrew Luck's father played for. Notice they won 30-17, a sum of 47 points. I think this is another tribute for the upcoming Super Bowl in Houston, the 47th Super Bowl of the modern era. The man who founded the original Texans team, Hank Stram, died on July 4th, a date that can be written 4/7. Lots of 33 and 47 tributes with the Texans. Hank Stram equals 33, dead on a date with a 47 connection. Those are going to be big numbers in this year's upcoming Super Bowl. Again, Star of David's also the symbol of the Zionists, the Freemasons. Star of David, gematria 47 and 119. These games come 119 days before the Super Bowl. The Redskins won just before Christopher Columbus Day. Think about it. You know, Christopher Columbus, the Masonic Jewish tyrant, supposedly came over here and discovered the country where people already lived, called the native people Indian. Indian equals 33, just like when you write out 16. And think about the initials Christopher Columbus, CC, 33, paid for by the Catholic Church, the CC, the 33. C's the third letter. Redskins upset Ravens 16-10 by the numbers. Baltimore 47 attempts on the day. The Redskins 41. Numbers we've covered. There's that gematria of 16 in Indian. These teams are now 3-3. Before the game, the Ravens led the series 3-2. After the Redskins win, the series is now 3-3. This perspective, what it says right here, this is the Redskins' record against the Ravens before the game. They played them 5 times. They were 2-3. They're now 3-3, corresponding with 16 in Indian. The first 2 games to finish on Sunday were Texans and Vikings and Jets and Steelers, and both games finished 13-31. I explained last week before the games were played how the whole week was going to be about 13. I first explained that in the video I made about Drew Brees losing to the Falcons by 13. I said how he was going to go to the Chargers the next week, make both teams 1-3 as part of the greater 13 ritual for Eli Manning's 13th season. A lot of this season is scripted around Eli Manning. Week 5 was certainly scripted around Tom Brady. Eli Manning, one of these players born into the football dynasty, Archie. His father played for the Saints. Who did the Saints win their first Super Bowl ever against? Archie Manning's son, Peyton. It's all scripted. It's all tributes. Anyway, the score here, 13-31. Vikings defeating the Houston Texans. Remember, I've said all year since February, the NFC Championship will be Giants and Vikings. I expect Giants to win in the end. I could have that backwards. It could be the Vikings. Here's what you need to know. Houston equals 31. Houston equals 31. The Vikings defeated Houston with 31 points. The Texans lost with 13. Vikings has gematria of 91, just like Browns. Again, when you count every number 1 through 13, it sums to 91. So here's the Texans losing with 13, the Vikings winning with the reflection 31. When you add those numbers together, they sum to 44. This year's Super Bowl is going to be on a date with 44 numerology, February 5th, 2017. The Vikings are now the only team in the NFL undefeated. They are 5-0. 5-0. Last year was Super Bowl 50 in San Francisco. San Francisco equals 50 in gematria. The 49ers were once 5-0 in Super Bowls. So I think this is in part a tribute to the last Super Bowl season, When Denny Green passed this offseason, I showed how his death was a tribute to the Super Bowl before and the season to come. Here we are now, the Vikings 5-0. And for those of you who read the comments, notice all the trolls I have that follow around every video. Every video, they're here to troll. This same group of trolls that won't go away, they're the same people that were making fun of me saying the Vikings were going to do good after the Bridgewater injury. And I told those trolls, I said, it doesn't mean anything that Bridgewater's hurt. The Vikings will probably still be good this year. You know, pay attention to my work. There's no work anywhere else on the internet that's more on point than my work. And a lot of people are learning from me, benefiting from this knowledge. You can be one of those people if your mind's open enough. So anyway, Super Bowl in Gematria sums to 41-50. Bobby Broussard, if you're out there, Bobby Broussard's one of the people who found my work and has now started making his own videos about this. I saw his preview video for this game, and he guaranteed the Vikings were going to lose for the 4-1 tribute because he's 100% convinced they're going to be in the Super Bowl from what I've shown him. What I wanted to remind him and everyone else is do not forget about the S exceptions. Super Bowl with the S exception is 50. That's why the Vikings being 5-0 can just as well be a Super Bowl tribute. Bobby Broussard, he only remembered 41, so he thought for sure the Vikings would lose in the tribute. He overlooked how 5-0 would also connect. Texans, also a name with 83 gematria like football. These games were played on the day that left 83 days left in the year. Here's why the score was 13-31. It's all by the numbers. Again, the Super Bowl on a date with 44 numerology like the sum of the game. The Vikings also became 4-0 against the Texans. Here's why that's interesting. It's been 40 years since they were in a Super Bowl. 4-0, 40. The last time the Vikings were in a Super Bowl was 76. Also, the first time the Vikings ever played the Houston Oilers, the old Houston team, it was on a date with 97 numerology. This is the 97th season of the NFL, and they won that game with 51 points. This is Super Bowl 51 about to be hosted by the Houston Texans. So Jets, Steelers, the first two games to finish, again, 31-13, both of them. Vikings, Texans, Steelers, Jets, not a coincidence. As I've shown so many times, Steelers equals 31, so many 31 tributes to the Steelers. By the way, 31's the 11th prime number. Football's a game of 11 on 11. Steelers have won the most Super Bowls. Notice the Steelers became 4-1, that Super Bowl number, the most winningest Super Bowl team in the modern era. Jets fell to 1-4. When you write out 14 as a word, it sums to 41, like Super Bowl. This is the Steelers' 84th season. Last week, I predicted Antonio Brown's stats and their win before the game was even played. If you missed my video on the Arnold Palmer tribute, you got to check that out. Arnold Palmer's full name equals 84. Antonio Brown wears 84. The game was 84 days after his birthday. Arnold Palmer, the short way, just his two-part name, equals 57. The game ended with 57 points. Arnold Palmer, born in the town where the Steelers practice in the preseason. Anyway, the Steelers being in their 84th season, the divisors of 44 summed to 84, and I think that's part of the reason we got this tribute, the 44-point total game. Prior to the game, the Steelers were 17-5 against the Jets. They're now 18-5. If you count the playoffs, they're 20-5. Notice the Steelers had 47 passing attempts. Another game that stood out to me before they were played was Falcons at Broncos. This is a rematch of Super Bowl 33, which was won by the Broncos on a date with 33 numerology. In this game, the team with the 33 connections prevailed, and I had a feeling they would, to punk the rookie quarterback in Denver. 4-1 both teams are now. Super Bowl equals 41. Week 1, I predicted why the Broncos would upset the Panthers. I said it's all about the number 41. The game finished with 41 combined points with a missed 50-yard field goal in the anniversary of Super Bowl 50. Anyway, Falcons won 23. We know why 23 is big. Broncos lost was 16. We know why 16 is big. Sum of 39. We saw Peyton go out at age 39, on top with the Broncos last year. John Elway, who won Super Bowl 33. Remember, John Elway was drafted number 1 overall by the Baltimore Colts, traded to the Denver Broncos. In more recent history, Andrew Luck was drafted number 1 overall by the Indianapolis Colts, causing Peyton Manning to get traded to the Denver Broncos to play under John Elway. Broncos, Colts. In horse racing terminology, a colt's only a colt for 4 years. The 5th year, they graduate. Andrew Luck's in his 5th season. He began the season with 55 games played. Again, when you write out 23 as a word, it sums to 55. Andrew Luck in week 5 becomes 2-3 in his 5th season. You see how it is? It's all a script. These teams have relationships. As I showed why the Broncos would win the Super Bowl in the 49ers stadium last year, I showed how it connected to Super Bowl 24. And lo and behold, the Broncos won Super Bowl 50 with 24 points. When you write out 24, it sums to 50, just like San Francisco. The Broncos lost in Super Bowl 24 to the 49ers 55-10. Last year, the Broncos were 55 years old. Elway was 55 years old. With the Broncos' loss yesterday to the Falcons, they became 8-6 against the Falcons all time. 8-6 all time. Broncos equals 86. Here's the stat line. Matt Ryan was 15 for 28. Paxton Lynch was 23 for 35. You know, are all these numbers familiar or what? Atlanta equals 15. 15 completions on 28 attempts. Again, yesterday, the 23 connection, 83 days left in the year. 83, the 23rd prime. 35 numerology. 223 passing yards. And oh my goodness, Truth Seeker, I forgot to mention that in the Colts game where Andrew Luck won, he had 322 passing yards. 3-2-2, 2-2-3. The numbers of the Freemasons. Colts, Broncos quarterbacks. You see this? This is how it's scripted. I've been saying all year that now that Peyton Manning's out of the league, now that the Broncos have done their thing, now it's Andrew Luck's time. Now it's his time to shine. Pretty sure he's going to get the revenge against Tom Brady and the Patriots this year. So anyway, rematch of Super Bowl 33 between the Broncos and Falcons. Matty Ice, 33, from the 33rd parallel. ATL equals 33. They get their revenge, giving the Broncos their first loss. No doubt a Super Bowl tribute. Both teams 4-1. That Super Bowl was played January 31st, 1999. 1/31, or 1 plus 31 plus 99 equals 131. Remember, Super Bowl equals 131, championship 131. No coincidence, Super Bowl 33 was on that date. Here was another game where it was just super clear that the Cowboys would win the game, and the people who follow my work, who like to create gematria magic instead of using gematria as I teach you how to use it, I'm all for doing things yourself and being creative. But don't be nonsensical about your projections and just start making up sentences and saying that's why this team's going to win. Stick to the facts, because this game was a clear read. On a date with 28 numerology, Dallas, Texas equals 28. A lot lined up for the Cowboys to win this game. And look, they won with 28 points. Dallas, Texas 28, 28 date numerology, winning with 28. Also, it was a date with 35 numerology. Prescott equals 35, the new rookie sensation. Dak Prescott, the full name that he goes by, his name's Dakota, but they call him Dak. Dak Prescott equals 42. Look at the sum of the game, 14-28. Bengals went down with 14. When you write out 14, it sums to 41. Cowboys at 4-1. Coming into the game, well, real quick, the QB stats. Dalton from Ohio. Ohio equals 29. Football 29. Dalton had 29 completions on 41 attempts. 41, the reflection of 14. Prescott had 24 attempts, the reflection of 42. But look at this. Coming into the game, the Bengals were 4-7 against the Cowboys. Ohio, the big way, equals 47. After the game, the Cowboys became 8-4 against the Bengals all time. They called the Cowboys America's team, United States of America 84. It's all rituals by the numbers, but the easy read on this one was the 28 connection to Dallas, Texas. It's just comical that they end up winning with 28 points. And that Prescott equals 35, also syncing up with the date. There was no read for the Bengals, unless you made up a sentence to say, that's why the Bengals will win. The Bills went into Los Angeles and upset the Rams, who got off to a hot start and a scripted start by the numbers. Notice the team from New York, the Bills, won by 11 points. New York's the 11th state. Football's a game of 11 on 11. Rams and Bills, historically laughingstock teams. Prior to the game, the Rams were 5-6 against the Bills. After the loss, 5-7. Bills now lead the series 7-5. New York and Los Angeles are also two cities with major revelation coding. Revelation's the book of prophecy. Revelation equals 49. New York, LA, revelation cities. Sum of 49 points between these teams. Not a coincidence. The Bills passer 23 attempts. Case Keenum, his 271 passing yards stood out to me because that's the 58th prime number connecting to Freemasonry. And then I looked at his birthday and saw it was February 17th, a reshuffling of those numbers. I think there was some Super Bowl ritual in this game between these teams. The 5-7, when you write out 57, it sums to the same thing as Super Bowl championship. This game came 131 days before his upcoming birthday. Again, the Rams have returned for the year of Super Bowl 51 to Los Angeles. Rams equals 51. Super Bowl 51 coming. Coliseum equals 97, where the Rams play. It's the 97th season of the NFL. The Raiders beat the Chargers 2 weeks in a row. Chargers miscue at the end, cost them the game. It's all scripted. It's all a joke. I said before the season began, things look good for the Raiders this year. I expected them to win the AFC West. We'll see if they can outdo the Broncos. I have a feeling by season's end they're going to. Raiders 4-1, Chargers 1-4. This was the 113th game between both teams. Mainstream 1-1-3, dishonest 1-1-3. Very mainstream, dishonest ending with the contrived dropped snap on the field goal kick that surely would have tied up the game, a little chip shot. The Raiders came into the game with 60 wins against the Chargers. They got their 61st. If you haven't seen my work last year on the death, Ken Stabler, go back and check that out. It has to do with this season. Derek Carr, 25 years old. 97 is the 25th prime number. This is the 97th season. Derek Carr, 25 years old. Fitting number to have a big season. He's having a breakout year right now. And just so you know, even though the NFL scripted, the talent's real. Derek Carr is truly a talented quarterback. He plays really well. He has a great arm. He's very accurate. You know, you can see that these games are scripted, but you can still see who has the real talent. Derek Carr. He's got real talent. This game came 28 weeks after his birthday. 28, big number on the week. Derek Carr, also a name that equals 83 like football. Game played on the day, leaving 83 days left in the year. The 25-year-old Carr had 25 completions. How about it? He also had the 317 passing yards. That's the 66th prime. NFL and Jewish gematria equals 66. First Super Bowl in the 66th season. I have a feeling that whenever the Raiders return to the Super Bowl, it'll be Derek Carr that's their man. I don't think it'll be this year, though. So Packers, Giants, Sunday Night Football. Like I've been saying every year for 2 years straight, Sunday Night Football is all about 39. Of course, the game ends with 39 points. I told everyone that the Giants should lose this game, going to 2-3 after Odell Beckham having his career-low 23 receiving yards last week. That was the clue. 23 receiving yards, then the next week in prime time becoming 2-3. Giants lost with 16. Packers won with 23. 39 combined points. SNF for Sunday Night Football, 39. Everything in New York's 39. They call the Giants the G-Men. G-Men 39. The G-Men go down for the second time in a row on Sunday Night Football in 2 years. It was interesting that coming into the game, the two teams had played each other 52 times in the regular season. This was their 53rd game all-time in the regular season. Eli Manning equals 53. The Giants and Eli Manning will put it together. They will be a playoff team. I don't know if they'll win the NFC East, but they're going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to be in the NFC Championship. We've seen the Giants have their comeback seasons before. That's usually the type of team they are. The Packers also got their 28th win in the regular season last night, on the date with 28 numerology. When I did my decode, a lot lined up for the Packers. Packers 28. Notice that Eli had 35 attempts and 199 yards. Again, Tom Brady 35, 199th pick. Eli Manning and Tom Brady history. Not a coincidence. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers, winning with 23, had 23 completions. On 45 attempts, when you write out 13, it sums to 45. Eli Manning in his 13th season. NYG for New York Giants equals 46, by the way. 199, the 46th prime. NYG 46. New York Giants defeated Tom Brady in Super Bowl 46. So Thursday night football. Let's cover Thursday night football and then Monday night football. Cardinals won Thursday night to kick off Week 5 with 33 points. The Cardinals play in Glendale on the 33rd parallel. The game was 31-21, but then a safety happened at the end, making it 33. Before the game, I showed how everything was all about 52. The coach of the 49ers is 52 years old. It was his 52nd game. The birth numerology of the starting quarterback for the 49ers, 52. I said that the 49ers will likely lose, have a bad game, bringing back Kaepernick. I've seen that this week the headlines are Kaepernick's returning. So there's another prediction correct. Meanwhile, the coach of the Cardinals, he was going for his win by the numbers, also having the 52 connection. It was no coincidence at the end of the game. It was a sum of 52 points before the safety, and we're going to talk about what the safety was about. That wasn't a coincidence either. But anyway, team from the 33rd parallel, plays in the 33 city, wins with 33 points. This game was the night before the playoff series began between the Chicago Cubs and San Francisco Giants. And here's the parallel. The Cardinals are originally from Chicago, like the Cubs. The Cardinals used to play in Chicago the last time the Cubs won a World Series. The 49ers are from San Francisco, like the Giants. And by the way, the last time the Cubs won the World Series, it had everything to do with the New York Giants team that are now in San Francisco and a play known as the Merkle Boner. A boneheaded play, they call it the Merkle Boner. Baseball in gematria sums to 54, so does backup. And in this game, Drew Stanton, the former baseball and football player, was filling in for Carson Palmer. Look at this. Drew Stanton, baseball and football prospect, his name in gematria equals 153. From his birthday to the Thursday night game was 153 days. And of course, he got the win. Not a coincidence. Here's what else I want to show you before we go to Monday Night Football. Carson Palmer's full name equals 213. Remember this. We're going to talk about why that's significant when we get to Monday Night Football. Again, baseball has gematria 54. This game was a tribute to baseball. The baseball playoffs going on. Also interesting, between the Cardinals and 49ers, this was the 50th game all-time between them in the regular season, and San Francisco equals 50. They lost at home to the Cardinals. Go back and watch my preview video. There's even more, but that's enough to know as we now go on to Monday Night Football. So Cam Newton is sitting out. The Panthers, who are in the Super Bowl, are off to a disappointing 1-3 start. Lifetime, the Panthers versus the Bucs. The Panthers have won 20 times. The Bucs have won 11. Tonight, I suspect Derek Anderson of the Panthers will get the win. A lot lines up for him. Let's talk about that. Cam Newton out with a supposed concussion from last week, got hit hard at the goal line. But think about it. Cam Newton gets rocked almost every week. This guy takes so many amazing blows, he comes right back and plays. He's not missing this week because of a concussion. That's the lie. The truth is, it's all about Derek Anderson, just like it was all about Drew Stanton not long ago. From Cam Newton's birthday to tonight's game is 153 days. The number we just saw for Drew Stanton, his game came 153 days. His name equaled 153. His game where he got to start came 153 days after his birthday. Here's that same number on Cam Newton. Then, from tonight's game to Cam Newton's upcoming birthday is 213 days. That's the number we saw on Carson Palmer. Look at this. Monday Night Football equals 213. 213 is a number coded all over Black Americans throughout history. Black History 213. Hands Up, Don't Shoot 213. So many black men have been killed by this number. Musicians, athletes, actors. See my video on Tupac Shakur. It's a very classic example. So anyhow, the opposing quarterback tonight is Winston, one of the few black quarterbacks starting in the NFL, Cam and Winston. Winston equals 33 like Monday Night Football. This will be Winston's 21st game. The Carolina Panthers might very well get their 21st win against the Bucs in Winston's 21st game. 21 equals 42. Winston, with the S exception, has the 42 gematria, a number often paired with 153. Talked about the 153 angle. From Winston's birthday to the game, or from the game to Winston's upcoming birthday, he'll be 23. That number is 88 days. 88, a number that represents time. That's why in Back to the Future, they always travel at 88 miles per hour. 8 represents the infinite loop, the endless cycle. So, here's Derek Anderson, who's filling in for Cam Newton, who's out tonight. Notice that Derek Anderson's 33 years old, the big number on Monday Night Football. Last week on Monday Night Football, we saw Odell Beckham, who was 33 days from his birthday, get shut down by Rhodes. Rhodes equals 33. Remember, Odell Beckham's full name equals 106. The man who shut him down last week, it was 106 days from his birthday, the number of prophecy. Important number often coded. Anyway, Derek Anderson, who's 33 years old, who's getting the start tonight. He's born on a date with 33 numerology. His name in gematria sums to 88 and 223, like this game being 88 days from the opposing quarterback's birthday. Notice that Derek Anderson's from Portland, Oregon. Oregon's the 33rd state. Even the abbreviation for Oregon, OR, that's the 15th letter, the 18th letter. The abbreviation's 33 for the 33rd state. Portland, Oregon in gematria also has the same gematria as Carolina Panthers. He played his college ball at Oregon State, who won this past weekend over Cal, not far from where the Super Bowl was hosted last year. They won it by the numbers. College football is rigged just like NFL football. Notice that the two Oregon teams, they both participated in games this weekend that ended in 91 points. I'll be doing a video on the Oregon-Washington game. It was a major tribute to George Washington. So anyway, Derek Anderson going for his 21st win tonight. Again, the 21st win they're looking for, the Panthers against the Bucs, and it's also Winston's 21st game. And I fully expect Derek Anderson to get it. Both of these rituals going on with the backup quarterbacks, Cardinals and Panthers, who met in the NFC Championship, look at how they share matching gematria. And in the same week in prime time, they get these tributes. Also, the first game, Thursday Night Football, it was a sum of 54 points, won by the backup 54. Let's see if they do it again tonight. They might very well do it. The last time Derek Anderson started was December 14th, 2014. That was 666 days ago. 666. That's not a coincidence. Tonight's game is on 1010. Revelation in Jewish gematria sums to 1010. Revelation, the book of prophecy. where the number 666 is made infamous. Prophecy equals 666 in Jewish gematria. Prophecy in simple English sums to 106, and Thursday Night Football was 10-6. Rituals between Thursday Night Football, Monday Night Football. If we're following the pattern correctly here, Derek Anderson should emerge victorious. If the Panthers lose, and I do not expect them to lose, they'll be 1-4. Again, when you write out 14, it sums to 41 like Super Bowl. The Panthers lost in week 1 by the number 41. But I think they've had enough of those tributes. And, just at home against the Bucs, who aren't very good, feels like they got to turn it around. A loss at home would be the ultimate humiliation, So I think we covered it all there, Truth Seeker. Your NFL scripted. It's scripted by the numbers. If you want to know more, go back and search all my older videos. I got years worth of videos, years worth of knowledge. You can go back and watch how I was laughing about Tom Brady and 35 and all the Deflategate headlines week after week. And lo and behold, here we are 2 years later and they're still doing it. Tom Brady, Deflategate, 35. Until next time, Truth Seeker.